The cameras are ready. The microphones are ready. Let's get ready for Wi-Fi!
So today we are joined by a guest that I must say is one of the most humble, down-to-earth, high achievers that I've ever met. I know I'm going to make him blush by saying that, but he is, if I could relive, I've been trying to word this, if I could relive, I would love to be a filmmaker and study the game and the craft. And this guy, if I was a kid, I would look up and go, when I'm older, I want to be like Romain Gavras. Because I would love to be a filmmaker, and the way you make films is astonishing. And we're honored, and thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to quickly talk about your most recent movie, Athena. It's mind-blowing. It's, Darren, you've recently seen it. So.
I watched it last night.
Okay.
Right, and I'm not going to pretend that I am a film buff. You know, I like films like everybody else, but I wouldn't necessarily say I take much notice to the way a film is shot. But I think, just quickly, one of the reasons why I want to do this podcast is understanding why people are great, why they're great at what they do. And after watching that film, there is no doubt in my mind that you are great. You are put on this planet, amongst other things, to make films. You know, Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, they were put on this planet to fight, to box, to entertain. When I watched that film, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away by the attention of detail in that film, the way it was shot, the way it you know, you was all singing off the same sheet. Do you know what I mean? The actors.
It was like jazz. Everyone was in synchronicity.
Everyone was in sync. Honestly, I'm not just saying this because you're sat here. That was incredible.
Well,
incredible. And I watched the making of it on the way here. So if you haven't seen it on Netflix, Athena and the making of Athena, I still can't understand how that film was made.
Yeah. I'm buzzing to hear you say that, because I love film. I'm sort of a film buff, if you want to call it that. But I wanted you to see what Roman does, and I said you've got to watch Athena so that you're acquainted with what he does. And, you know, just make sure you're engaged for the first. How long is it? 25 minutes. That first.
Yeah, that
sequence?
first one is like 15, something like that. Minutes.
Okay, it's intense, isn't it? Like there's no cut.
You're just captivated. You're just there. You're there.
Yeah.
I felt like I was part of it.
Yeah, that was
your heart rate's
the
up.
intent. Yeah, that was the intent, to feel like you're in the middle of it all the time. And we did this with a lot of work. Like I didn't have gray hair before shooting the film. You know, like but it's interesting what you're saying about the synchronicity of the people, because we approach it almost like a play, or like the way people would rehearse theater or an opera, where you rehearse with the people before you start shooting. So like we rehearse for like a month and a half, and just to get everyone on the same page, because it's a dance between the camera and the actors and the extra and the pyrotechnic and the stunt coordinators and all that stuff. So little by little you add ingredients, and so it's just a lot of work, basically. You know?
So just quickly on that film, so how does the process work? So are you contacted with a script, a play, and then it's over to you to make it how you want?
No, so we wrote it with my childhood friend Lajli, who made a film called Les Miserables, who got
That's brilliant as well.
Who went to the Oscars and everything. Right. And so we've always wanted to write something together, and so we wrote it during the pandemic. And then once we had a script, you go to the studios, like in France, there's a few studios that give that level of budget to a film. And Netflix were the one that were like making it possible to do it, you know, like because I didn't want like famous actors in it. I wanted to be like very new faces. Some are a bit known in France, but not really like super famous. And so we went to them, and they greenlit the budget, and suddenly we had to make it, you know, like, and it's one thing writing it, because you write it and you're like, oh, the shot starts here and then goes all the way there, but then you have to make it.
Am I right? You street cast the main character.
Yeah, the main character is street cast. Yeah, we like before the film was greenlit, we street cast him like for like I don't know. We saw like 500 kids. You know, like.
Do you always use the same kind of casting director that helps you gather
yeah,
that?
like so this casting director was the assistant on a few films of my previous casting director that passed away a few years back, unfortunately. And he's very good because they come from the school of like I know they're good directors of actors. So like when I leave them and go cast, they come back with tapes where they push the kids or the actors in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even someone that is good or that has potential on a tape, you don't necessarily see it. But if you have someone behind the camera that's like pushing him towards the right direction, then it becomes interesting and you can see something you would have missed if the guy did a self tape or if someone was bad behind the camera.
Yeah, I really felt that the main character. I really felt his kind of grit. Do you know what I mean? There was a rawness to him. Do you know what I mean?
And because he needs like basically because he's a leader of a kind of an uprising, we needed him to have that kind of like natural charisma where you don't doubt for a second.
Is this Karim?
Karim, yeah.
Karim.
The younger character, younger brother. Where you don't doubt for a second that 300-400 kids would follow him into war, but at the same time he needed to be fragile because like if he was just like a tough dude, he would feel like an asshole. But because he has this fragility and this like sensitivity in him, you also want to take him in your arms and say it's going to be okay, mate. You know.
It was incredible, honestly. I was blown away by it, and to be honest, I didn't think I was going to be that amazed by it. It was just the way it was shot. I mean, the attention to detail. I'm sure we will certainly. I'm worried about spoiler alert here. Talking about it too much. I could pick your brains forever, but I'm sure we'll circle back to the film. But I mentioned it there. We're intrigued about greatness and how people get to where they are and the journey that's got them to where they are. But like everybody has a beginning. Where did it all start for you, Romain?
So I was born in a cinema family. Like my father is a director, so like
Oscar winning, right?
Yeah. So like so his career was really thriving in the 70s and 60s. I have two brothers and one sister, but I'm the last one. They had me older, right. And so all my family works in the industry. So when I was growing up, the house would turn into like the production office. So like I would see the actors rehearse, the wardrobe. Like so it's kind of like it's a big advantage because growing up in a film family, like at dinners, all the conversations were about cinema. Like everything was about cinema and production and like creativity and like also like most of the time cinema is like we have this much money and we want to make it look like this. And so I guess like it almost became like a second tongue. And he's still alive. Like he's really good. Our dad, like he never. Like he from age of 18, he was like either you study and you stay at the house or either fuck off and do your life. But like he never like helped us directly to be in films or like he wanted us to have our own path. So the advantage was like you get the whole kind of brain functioning since like a very young age of like, you know, like if your dad is into boxing, like if he's a boxing coach, there's something that will come naturally, you know, like. So this was a big advantage, and from age like 14, with my friend Kim Chapiron, Lajli, who made Les Miserables, like where we were kids. Like the good thing about France is that everyone goes to state school, so you have kids like me that came from like artistic background, but with kids from all sorts of like different background, and we started creating like a crew when we were 14 and starting to do short movies because it was the beginning of like. Cameras and HI tapes and DV tapes. So you could start like making movies at home, and we would do like editings from VCR to VCR, but like from a very, very young age, like making short movies, little music videos and stuff like that. And by doing them, you start learning. And
so would you manually cut? Like?
No, not manually cut, but you had two VCRs, a remote in the middle, and so you do, but you have like one chance to cut it. so it learns. It makes you learn discipline, and it's by doing some that you make mistakes and that you learn from it. And the whole idea is to be hands-on and just like make shit, miss. Don't try like at the first things you start to do to tell like the most important story of your life because you'll fuck it up. It's your first thing. And that's sometimes it's the problem with people that start. They start with something way too ambitious, and the first thing you'll fuck them up. So you need to, like boxing, like where you're never good at the beginning. It's by doing. I really believe in the 10,000 hour type of theory where it's by doing it, then you start to learn.
Putting yourself on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Helps you to learn your mistakes, and then you kind of gain perfection by a long process rather than trying to nail it first time. Yeah,
exactly.
I can relate to that in the sense you mentioned there. If your father boxed, my dad did box, but very similar to yours. Never pushed me into it.
Yeah,
it was always probably because of the nature of the sport as well. I think my dad didn't want me to do it in case. Because it's so hard, you get punched in the face. So unless you really want to do it, he would never push me into it. But do you think subconsciously? I mean, firstly, do you ask your dad for feedback on your films? So say Athena, do you ask for feedback? Does he give you feedback? Is he constructive?
Oh yeah. Like because our whole family is in the industry, we make each other read our scripts, and we're quite blunt and hard with each other. And so like. My dad's 90 now, so like it's the age gap is so his wisdom is going to help me a lot on a lot of things, but so as my brother, my sister, my mom, my
it's all
cousins.
The same.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of communication, but we're very hard with each other,
they're blunt,
which is good.
They're blunt and harsh.
Yeah.
And do you think that there is like is there a competitiveness amongst the family, like healthy?
No, because we do very, very different things,
right?
So
they're in the industry, but they're not directors.
So my brother's a producer, my sister's a director. Like she did films, also documentaries. But it's just like the style is very different. Yeah. And we all know all the siblings. We know we can't kill the dad because the dad is too big. So we accepted that.
But it's funny though, like that you have that perception. Like I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day. He's a barrister, and his son was like, his son, I was trying to get like an idea of what do you want to become, and all he kept saying was, I just want to be better than my dad.
Oh yeah,
that's ingrained in us.
Eddie Hearn was the same.
Yeah,
Eddie Hearn, the promoter, his dad was a very big promoter. He just wanted to outdo his dad.
And were you the same in a way, like?
No, not really. I don't think so.
You said you want to impress your dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that. I guess is my part of my question really is I think I always wanted to impress my dad. I always wanted him to know that one, that I was proud of him, and two, I wouldn't necessarily say I was doing it for him, but I wanted his, probably a bit different to you. I wanted my dad's arm around the shoulder and say, "You've done well."
His adoration.
Yeah, but I think we all want that. Like that's a very normal thing. I think then it's like the dad's job to make it so it's not like your only goal in life, is to please your dad. But like it is a very natural feeling, and like my early stuff we did like when we were like teenagers and young adults, like I never showed it to him because it was too insane and too scattered and others. So I was just scared of his opinion and my mom's opinion, because my mom is also a very strong figure, and so like there's always a sense of like you want them to be proud, but in a sense of like if I went completely down his line, it would have blocked me in a certain way. So you need to it's a tricky line to walk, because you need to try to be the best at what you are and to impress them and make them like proud, but also to not try too hard to make it just about them.
Sometimes like the fear of losing. My dad always used to say, if you're too scared of losing, you'll never fully give the performance that you should.
I'm going to sort of jump in, but there was a question that sort of intertwined with these two questions. But as a kid, what were you like? Because I've been watching a lot of your stuff, and for me, there's a lot of violence, a lot of repression, or you're sort of acting as the voice for repression, or the people that are from a not so well off background and stuff like that. And as a kid, did you have that? Was there an element of anger in the way that you were? Were you rebellious?
I was like when I was a kid. I was like I was a nice kid, and then the teenagehood, because like the here, like I see it now because I have a daughter in the UK, and I see how it's very compartmentalized, the society. Whereas in France, you grew up with at school, it's all type of kids. So you very confronted very early on to a lot of things, and I've always like seen things through, I guess, like different angles, like different perspectives, through friends or through situation that we lived, like, and then it's the way you translate that. And I think, violence, because there is some violence in the work I do, but for me, like, a Britney Spears pop video would be more violent to my eyes, than someone throwing a Molotov cocktails to cops, So violence is like a perspective thing almost, No,
but there is a brutality to a lot of what you do. I was watching the M.I.A. video with the redheads.
Yeah.
And just how you've honed in on why the redheads? Why have you honed in on them as the kind of?
Well, so we were talking a lot back in the days before that video, and they were like, she's from Sri Lanka, and there was something happening in Sri Lanka where the government were taking like ex-Tamil fighters and like making them run through minefields. Like so there was, and when we were talking, I was like, it's more like if you do it very specifically about about Sri Lanka, like, unfortunately, people in the West won't give a fuck because we're accustomed to those images. So to have like cute redhead kids and American army, to have like something visually that's way more present in our common life would like sparkle a conversation. And also, like, I like to go through subjects like through a kind of like diagonal thing. If you chew on the nose about topics, I feel like you almost like it doesn't resonate, and it feels like an essay, and it feels like, oh, war is bad, or like you could say it in a tweet or in a two-liner,
and you alienate certain people from it.
Yeah, and you kind of like become a bit too obvious. This is why, for example, with Athena, like, it is situations that we know, like there was riots here, there's riots in America, like there's certainly a lot in France, but the idea was to make it almost into a Greek tragedy, so it resonates. Like you can take the same film and make it in medieval times, in ancient Greek time. The ingredients would change, but the story would be exactly the same. Like it's an exercise when we were writing with Ledge, like we were doing, like, would the story hold if we did it in medieval time? And it would be exactly the same.
And was there a story that inspired, or that you inspired that a little bit?
It was a lot of different stories. It's almost like a perpetual thing of like, from ancient Greek time or Shakespearean time, like, biblical, a blood brother dies and vengeance is unleashed, and the violence is uncontrollable, and someone will take advantage of that violence.
It was in that film, in those scenes, though there's so much drama and chaos, there is this, I don't know, this underriding current of beauty in some ways. And I think one of the things I was impressed with the making was the soundtrack. Was that quite inspired by, because you have Greek heritage, right? You're half Greek.
Yeah.
I think some of the lyrics in the music in Greece is Greek.
Yeah, it was because we kind of like, when you do a film, you try to tie it thematically and visually to something you have in mind, and because we really wanted it to make it resonate like a Greek tragedy, we did Greek choirs, and we did, we had all that, all those elements that push the narrative towards the tragedy, and also the idea is that talking about beauty is that even in the tragedy, it needs to have poetry, because at the end of the day, when you do films, you're doing a spectacle, and in a spectacle, even when there's drama, even when there's violence, it needs to be somehow elevated into a certain degree, a poetry sense, or iconography sense, or a symbolic sense.
Sort of dipping back a little bit, going back to the beginning. One of the things that we're also fascinated about is the discipline that's required to go on a journey. At what point did you say to yourself, and this probably come very young, but was there a pivotal moment where you thought, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
Well, because we started really young, like, at 14, we were making films and everything. At first, it was almost like, instead of like, when you're a teenager, instead of like riding bikes and smoking joints, we were making films every weekend, like, so it was, it was just like the way it was, and we loved doing it. And then I guess the discipline came later, when it was like, okay, how do I monetize this? How do I monetize this, but with still making what I love to do? And then, little by little, you start to find ways of like, for example, like I do commercials on the side, and I love making
on the side. He says on the side.
No, but like it's because like I like doing them, because like I learn a lot of things doing them. They pay really well. They pay my crews that I use. Like I pull favors to my crews when I shoot music videos or films, and also you learn a lot. And but at the end of the day, you're selling a shoe, you're selling perfume. You know, so it's not your main
it's not your guts on
your main
screen.
drive, but you do learn a lot, and then it creates a balance where I know I will never make a film for the sole purpose of money. Like it will always have like something that I feel more passionate about, and I think at the end of the day, that's the key. Whatever you do, like I'm sure boxing is the same. Like
100%.
If you only do it, I mean, money is definitely a part of it, but if you need the hunger to come from somewhere else.
Exactly like you said there. It starts off, you saying you were shooting films when you're 14. It's about the love of the trade. But the same as us when we're amateurs. You start off, it's purely the sport.
Yeah.
The winning, the losing. It's about competing. It's about, and then you get to a point where, you might be late teens, where you start thinking, how can I monetize this? And for us, it was fighting for England, and you got funding from the government, and then it was obviously turning professional. But it always started off, and I think this is with anything. If you're going to put all your heart and soul and all your discipline into a trade, it has to start with the love of that sport or job first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I really understand my reasoning for the hunger and the passion, and the reason that I wanted to, or the reason that I was captivated by boxing as a form of expression. It fitted me, it fitted my issues. But I'm wondering, like, where does that hunger come from, other than the influence of your family?
Yeah.
When was it that you went, like Darren sort of asked, was there a like, because you probably played with photography and other forms of creativity, but when was it that you made something and you were like, this is it? I remember that moment in boxing, but when do you remember a specific moment?
Honestly, it was like really like, the teenage years, where, because we were making those, and every time we would finishing one, I was like, it's not good enough. But I was, it was not even a question.
You were enthralled and engaged from the off.
It was not even a question. Like, because we were, so there's the family influence, but because from age 14, all the teenage years, we were, a crew of like a few directors helping each other, making stuff and doing it all the time. That kind of like made us not compete, but like be like, oh, he made this, I'm gonna make this, and it was never a doubt, like, and with what's cool when you're a teenager is that you're also very cocky, like, and at 16 we thought, like, looking at Spielberg's film, we were like, we'll be higher than that guy in a few years.
What is the first off, is it important? Are you a control freak? Being the director, do you have to be fully in control?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like the job.
But you have to. Like,
Yeah.
you won't. I guess you will have other people help and
Oh, yeah,
ideas,
yeah.
and you take that on board. But I think I asked you this at the beginning. Can you sort of talk me through a process of making the film? Because I found this very interesting in the making. Where was it? Am I right in thinking the music come last?
Yeah, but like it depends. Like the music, like for me, I need like while I'm prepping and while I'm shooting, I need to have thematically the themes and the sentiment of the music. Some people don't have the music at all and it comes at last. For me, it's different. Like I need to have the rhythm in my head and the kind of sentiment that the music's going to bring to a scene. So even if it's not definite, I need to kind of have that before, even if it's demos and stuff like that, but beginning of ideas. And the process then for directors is everyone is very different, because like my background is when we started doing films, we were doing everything. Like I was doing from the camera to the sound to the edit to so and when we teach the kids
Control
at school,
freak.
but then the job in cinema is like it was very hard when I got more professional crews to let go of the camera than to let go of the edit. And then it's just when your director is understanding that there's some people that are better at you at directing. Not at directing, but at filming, at sound, at editing, but it's very important to know all those different craftsmanship, because then you kind of can tell more precisely what you want, but then it's like literally like building an army around you that is way better at you than in specific stuff.
It
then
elevates you.
It elevates you, and then you kind of like lead the army to like, and you need as well. This is why like my crews, like I use them a lot, and we like a family, because I know when there's problems, when shit hits the fan, when it's like, because films is tough sometimes, they will walk through fire with me, and I think it's very important to have that unity. Like there's directors that like shout at their crew and everything. I never understood that. I think if you lose your temper, or if you kind of like in confrontation all the time, is that you lost. You should put in place something where you shouldn't go down that line of confrontation where
There is definitely something about you that I've learned by coaching you, like through boxing, that I connect with you. We get on, and there's like that integrity and that trust and that loyalty, and I mean even to the point where I introduce you to the guy that cuts my hair, and you get your hair cut by him, and he said, Roman, if he needs a haircut and he goes away, he won't have his haircut until he gets back to me. Even if he's away for a month, he comes back like this. I'm like, but that is you. Like you have this sort of really rigid kind of integrity, and that without blowing smoke up you at the beginning, I was a bit cringe, but it's true. Like I do really admire you, and you really have your feet on the ground, considering you are at a point where you could give it the big one, and you don't at all. Yeah,
but like I think it's because when you work with, like whether it's like the mates or the crew, which is like almost the same now, if you start to lose it a little bit, like they're here to to ground you, and also like I think like because the job of the director is not like if you're a painter or musician, it's kind of all depends on you, and you can become, like, like I depend on so many people that I need to somehow be, grounded. So if I lose it, like they'll never follow me, so you kind of need to be grounded. And then to what you were saying about like control freak or not, you need to, I prepare a lot, everything I shoot, whether it's music videos or commercials or films. I prepare a lot, because when you arrive prepped on set, you can allow some accidents to happen. You can allow like to go off-road a little bit, but you need the A plan in order to be comfortable with the B plan. Like I'm sure it's the same in sports. Like you prep to, like with an opponent that's like for a specific opponent, but then when you really prep to the max, you can change the cards completely. So I think it's like building something where it's very precise, but you can move the line like if at some point on the day it's better in a different way.
Yeah. If plan A is not flowing, then you've got plan B, C, and D to sort of refer to as well.
Yeah, and sometimes an actor will bring an idea that is amazing, you know.
And
like,
you've got to be open enough and grounded enough to be able to receive that and not
sometimes, you know, it's not good.
So
you need to be civil in the way you say
rigid enough to have your vision, but I get it.
Like dialogue as well. Do you get actors saying to you, it doesn't sound right, me saying this? Is there always a bit of leeway in that as well?
Yeah, but because you rehearse, you make readings before shooting with the actors, and like when they're, you know, sometimes they're good and they have like an interesting input, you'll rewrite bits of dialogues and everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes on the day, because when it's different when you rehearse and when the camera's on and when everyone's there and like, you know, there's something like, I'm sure it's the same when you train and when there's like audience and sometimes there's a magic that happens and they will add something that elevates the scene or something. And you need to be open to catch those moments.
It must be quite difficult when you're working with an artist that is also very rigid and you know, knows what they want. Someone like Kanye West or Jay-Z or, you know, just to name a few names. But are they giving in freedom? Do they allow you to create, or do they get a little bit involved? Do you get a little bit of like?
Well, no, like so I did one video for them for the Watch the Throne album, and like it was very open. It was like them saying, do your thing, like they're not in it, like so it was more like do your thing, and then the finished thing was it, you know, without changes or with music videos. Basically, there's not enough. Some people do it for a different reason, but for me, there's not enough. It needs to be completely like my creation. It needs to be completely my thing, like because you don't do it for money because there's not enough money. So unless it's your thing, I don't really have the sorry, he was like the guy was dancing.
Sorry for the people that couldn't see it. Some lunatic at the window shadow boxing.
But my point was that for music videos there needs to be some kind of like either like a dialogue with the musicians. Like I had with M.I.A. or with Justice, or some people just going like, do your thing, you know.
So how does that come about? So you do the video, you direct the video for Kanye West. How did that come around?
Oh, it's because of prior videos I've done, like where then you start to have like big names calling you and be like, oh, do you want to do the video? And then like most of the time. I didn't go in it because I knew that, you know, it would have been a random thing. But like sometimes you feel okay, there's a window to make something special, and this is when like, you know, when Jay-Z and Kanye were like, okay, we give you the keys to the castle, like do your thing.
The freedom to express yourself.
I mean, even I coached Georgia Smith, musician, and. Just randomly, she's chatting about, you know, her next video, and she goes, "Oh, you know, a few directors I'd like to work with, but you know, Romain Gavras." And I was like,
she actually said
that to me, And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I train him."
Look, do you know he wants a finder's fee from that? He wants a percentage.
But that, I mean, there's the perfect example of obviously the reputation carries, and then people come and.
So obviously, you touched on your family. You was brought up in this world, if you like. What other inspirations outside of your family? Who inspired you to do what you're doing, and not just to do what you're doing, to be the best at what you do? Who were your inspirations?
Like I mean, there's a lot of directors. So when we grew up in our building, there was Matthew Kassovitz, who's the guy that directed *La*. I don't know if you saw that film. And so we were 13 when that came out, and when you're 13 and that came out in France, it's like the best thing you've ever seen. And so that was also a big inspiration because it was close to us, and then it's just like seeing, you know, at the end of the day, it's like even when you see when I go to a bakery and the baker is so good at making bread and so passionate, I'm saying this because the baker next to mine was like very chatty and very good. I feel inspired by something like that. It sounds corny, but like people that are like amazing at what they do, whatever it is always fascinating because it means they're curious. It means they have like discipline in what they do, and that they just push it to the best they can be.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
Like exactly what.
yeah.
Sort of engaging with people that are, pushing the boundaries in what they do and striving for perfection in some way.
Yeah. I mean, perfection in films is not really possible. Like, but you definitely like.
For you
push,
though, for you in what you do, like there must be a sort of an aim, a direction that you're maybe like a target that you're trying to hit, or maybe you've already hit it. But is there?
No, I think it's like because like with films, it's like I don't have like a long career plan like I want to be like that. Every film is different and every film has its challenges, and so it's almost like coming back the mountain after you finish a film and then you have to climb up back the mountain, so it's every time is different and every time it's a new thing where you're going to be for 3 years 4 years of your life in a new mental vortex of different
but is there, like, for example, like in boxing we obviously know that if you get the title belt, and your hand goes up and theirs doesn't, you won.
Yeah.
But is there a version of that? Like, for example, you make the film and it gets nominated for an Oscar, or is there something that you would go, yes,
well,
I've nailed, or is that a little bit sort of cliche?
But that's different because with boxing, it's like you're better than someone at points or because you knock them out. It's very obvious. With films, sometimes I watch the award ceremony and I've seen the films that win, and I'm like, why did so?
But we have the same thing. We watch a fight and we think, what were they watching?
Yes, but it's still with sports, it's still the numbers of goals that are scored. With boxing, there's a point thing that can be different, but at the end of the day, it's like the best person wins or the best team wins. Whereas with films or arts, it's a bit more complex. Like I think for me, I achieve it when it reaches the audience and when I'm proud of what I made, and of course, like awards are really good and everything, but it's not as clear cut as a sport,
Would there be a moment for you, or just give me an example of something that made you think, I'm really proud of that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, with Athena, like my dad was really proud. Like like there's a few details like this, like where I felt like it was. I achieved very closely the ambition that I set myself to do with that film.
It's funny that you mentioned the dad again.
Yeah, no, but it's important.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's important, but it's like the dad, my friends, my mom. When, and I've had that with a few music videos. When you reach something where it's like, okay, this one is one for the ages. But the thing is that then you go back down the mountain and you need to climb it up again.
Is there an anticlimax? Are you deflated after you've made a film? As great as that.
Yeah.
Is it like, oh?
No, but like also like this one was very physical. It's a lot of days of shooting. It's intense set. It's like very physical to do. And so like I'm never, knock on wood, but I'm never sick. So like I'm rarely sick. But every time after I finish a film, for a week, I'm like, like the adrenaline comes down and I'm off for a week.
It's similar to boxing.
Exactly what I was about to say. There's a lot of similarities. For me, the process of making a film and the film itself is the training camp, the fight. It's the same thing. And
you got your team, you got your camp.
Your team, exactly. A lot of similarities there. A big part of boxing, I think, and the build-up to an actual fight itself is the nerves, and the nerves come from a different variation of things. The fear of losing, wanting to win, disappointing people,
humiliation.
Yeah. Do you carry nerves into the process of making a film? And the reason I say that is because there's a big responsibility, right? You're the captain, if you like, of this film, and you're responsible, I guess, for creating the masterpiece. Is there nerves? Do you feel nervous when you go into a process?
I think it's a good analogy with boxing because like part of the job is to keep composure when you do a film. Like, because basically if you, like, and it's like one of the best advice I got about doing films is on set, because on set basically what you're doing is like you're controlling a ship that's in a massive storm. On set it's like a storm is coming. This actor needs to leave. Someone got injured. Like there's always problems. It's like managing problems all the time. And the best advice I got is like, even when you don't know what the fuck you're doing, pretend that you know what the fuck you're doing. Because
it's like boxing.
Because if you start to lose it, and if you start to like, stutter, or if you start to like choke, the rest of your crew is going to be like, oh my God, the captain is not knowing what he doesn't know what the
run
fuck
for
he's
cover.
doing. Oh yeah, no, but exactly. And then everyone fucking freaks out. And so like there is not every day, but there is days where you're panicking inside, and it's the same as boxing. Like the first time, like you don't want to get hit. You don't. And most of it is keeping composure and being relaxed. And I think it's coming back to what we were saying before, like directors that lose their shit or like that scream at people. For me, when that happens, and it's gonna happen once in a blue moon, it's like I lost. Like I shouldn't be at a point where I lose my cool. Like
that leads on to. Well, I've spoke about what would a win look like, and I wondered whether there is a moment, or there have been moments that, obviously, in those early days, there was like you messed that up a bit, but was there a moment where you think I lost, or that was a bit of a failure, or is there a kind of nerves about something particular happening, and you're trying to stop that from happening because that would be a loss?
So far, no.
No.
So far, like, it's not too like, but like so far, I haven't like put out, like there's two parts again to what I do. There's the commercial side, and there's but like on the personal, on the stuff that I've made for myself, whether it's the films or the music videos, I've always been happy with it, or I didn't feel like I hit the failure. And wins, I guess, they look more like so. For example, for Athena, the first screening we did was at the Venice Film Festival. It was in competition, and my daughter came. My daughter is 14 now, and I told her, like, in those festivals like Cannes or Venice, it's when you're in competition, it's very hard because films can get booed. Really? People can leave.
Wow.
Like, yeah. It's bad, and especially with a film like this that's a bit confrontational, that's like divisive, and it's it's not a crowd pleaser. Like it's something that. So I told my daughter, like, listen, like we're gonna, and everyone's in talks, and it's like in a huge venue, and it's a big festival and everything. So I told her, like, listen, like there's a chance that people are gonna boo, people are gonna, and so like I think she was tense for me as well. And but at the end, like we had like a 8-minute standing ovation. Wow. And so it sounds corny as fuck, but like my daughter was really proud and really relieved as well. I think because she, for the whole film, she must have think like, oh my God, if my dad gets booed by 2,000 people.
Did you feel that though? Did you feel nervous about that?
I was confident. I told her before the thing, I was like, even if we get booed, I'm so happy with the film that it's worth it. Like.
That's got to be. That has to be. That's your Oscar. That's your Grammy. Everything like that. Surely, if you.
Yeah, but at the same time, if we got booed, I would have.
Regardless.
Yeah,
maybe seeing the pride of your daughter though, seeing how proud
yeah, no, that was good.
That's got to be like,
yeah, that
for
was
me.
Good.
I think even the belts aside, I think knowing now my daughter is 12 now, she's understanding.
No, I had to look at. I looked at her quickly and then move my eyes because I was going to get teary. So like,
choked you up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, look, I've dipped my toe into filmmaking, and I made a short documentary, and I remember. I mean, Darren knows because it was involving Darren's family and boxing and all this stuff. And I remember going into the screening of that, which I screened it for all the people that I knew would understand it. And all of a sudden I was like, fuck. I was like, it hit me like a wall. I was like, Well, I think I probably went white, and my coach, who's now passed away, it was based around him. But walking into that cinema, I was suddenly like I was walking into, well, worse than walking into a fight, because I've been doing fighting all my life, and I know that.
Yeah.
But walking into the screen, I was like, fucking hell. And I sat
You've
there,
got
and
to
I was.
Yeah.
No, you've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Brilliant, right?
Brilliant. Yeah,
I was shaking, like in my body. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, if I hope I do the people that are involved proud.
Oh, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And you, I mean, your level is 1,000 times that.
But it's the same, because you the first time you screen a film for an audience and everything, and you have to sit watching the film, the experience you get is so different, because first you see what you had in mind works. Like this film, there's not a lot of room for comedy, but my previous film has a lot of like comedic moment, and if people don't laugh, it's very direct. It's like, that didn't fucking land, or like, so it's a whole different experience when you sit the first time in that room.
Just quickly on those, this is a question for me. Those festivals, the Cannes, the Venice, etc. What's the process there? So who is in attendance and how are they judged?
So first you need to get in. It's like for example, Venice, you have like 12 films in competition, but it's like thousands of films that are sent. So like already when you get in, it's a massive win, because it means like your film's gonna get exposure worldwide.
Right.
That if you need like distributors to buy it for different countries, people will see it and buy it. And then there's a jury that's composed by the president of the festival. That like for example, like in Cannes this year, the president was Ruben Östlund, who did Triangle of Sadness. And then there's
I love that.
And then there's like directors, actors, sometimes like writers in the jury, and then they watch all the films and they vote.
Right. So and is that over a weekend?
It's over 10 days. Like
Over 10
Cannes
days.
is like 10 days. Venice is like 10 days.
So they watch them all. They're in attendance, and at the end of the 10 days,
they vote, and
They
it's like
vote.
so. It's 8 people that vote, and then the Oscars or the BAFTA is a whole different thing. It's the industry. So it's all the people that are in the industry that vote. So it's like like in the UK, it's like 5,000 people that vote for a film. But those ones are different. Like the Oscars, for example, you campaign because it's all the American industry that votes, almost like an election for a president. So you have campaigns, like a film does a campaign. They do screenings everywhere where they pull out the big
It's like a
actors, because there's
marketing
old voters as well.
Right,
like
right.
there's the whole old Hollywood. So you'll often see that like films like old war films, like sometimes they win just because a lot of people are old voters, and then you do a campaign where you screen to those people. Like they go shake hands, like a presidential campaign.
Is there, like, going back to the sort of walking into a screening, or is there from the beginning to the end of achieving a movie, is there a kind of a main fear of yours that, like,
Fucking it up. Yeah.
but what would fucking it up look like? What is that?
Well, the thing is, like, I think it's every day. Every day is a different challenge, because if you fuck up a scene, then it's gonna fuck up the scene after, and like it could be from an actor not being good, it could be from the lighting taking too much time to make, it could be from you not having the right ideas to, like sometimes you get stuck into something doesn't work, right? In films, if something doesn't work, at some point you need to change, your plan and to go with B plan. And sometimes the worst thing is when you get stuck in something where you're like trying to push a square into a circle kind of thing. And so there's this, but every day comes with its new kind of like challenge
I mean, adapting to the situation.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about, actually I watched the documentary, The Heart of Darkness.
Oh yeah, that's the best making of a film that there is.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you talk about fucking it up. There was moments where Coppola must have felt like, I'll fuck this up, because he's had to change the lead.
Yeah,
and like send him home and get a new one, and
but like that's a really good example of like an amazing making of an amazing film as well. The thing is, like, a good film is only good decisions, you know, like, and all those decisions, even though they must have seemed like a nightmare at the time, like changing the actor, like 2 months into the film, all those decisions led to make a masterpiece, you know.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, even if it felt like a failure on the day or it felt like a fucking nightmare, it led to do an amazing film.
There's a part in Athena, I can't remember if it was your call or the guys filming it, where they're all rushing and some of them are leaving, and the cameraman at the back, every time he kept doing it, he kept getting budged.
Yeah.
Budged. Was that your decision to keep going? Because you're talking about plan Bs, and those who haven't seen it, when you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But was that your choice to keep it going? Because I think at one point they were going to stop.
Yeah, it was like it was this kind of thing where when there's a lot of extras. Was
it like maybe 400 or something?
Yeah,
crazy?
that day was like 500 or 600. Like so you need to choreograph it in a certain way that shit doesn't happen. And I think it was like the problem we had is, like, a day like this, you can't repeat it because it's too much of an expensive day.
Yeah.
So you kind of need to. You don't have a choice but to make it good, you know. So it was like always the same problem was happening. But I knew that at some point, if you make it right, it's gonna happen, you know. Like, but we there's a lot of days where you need luck. So you can't,
because there is no plan B there. You have to shoot.
Oh no, we have like this.
It had to be shot.
No, it has to be shot. It has to be, because the problem with when you have a lot of extras, because of the nature of the film, because it's a lot of one long takes. At some point, the extras understood, like, oh, I'm just gonna be small in the background, right? So they started to be like trying to get closer to camera and trying, you know, like, just so we see them.
Yeah, because they're street kids as well, right? They're from the area.
No, but the kids were fine, because the kids, like, they understood that because we spent so much time there rehearsing and everything. By the middle of the shoot, they were like, we understand we're going to be blurry in the background, but
they accepted it.
But because those extras were like more professional extras, you know, like there was like the families that leave the estate and everything, they understood the thing. And they were sneaky, you know. They were trying. And
have you seen Ricky Gervais?
Yeah. It was like that. It was like that.
Right, yeah.
It was like that. Like trying to have and like there was. I remember on that day there was one, and my assistant couldn't find him. So like we were like, because he was like just like behind the pillar, and every time the camera was on, he would just to get in the fucking film. But I think on that particular scene we managed to find him and chuck him out.
But it takes a lot of courage to make those calls in the moment that get rid of the lead or whatever. And I remember hearing about the Jamie XX video that I assumed that it was shot on CGI and you kind of created an Eiffel Tower but it wasn't. It's a real place.
Yeah. So
but I also remember hearing about the fact that the day before shoot you had a dream or something about let's bleach everyone's hair.
Yeah. So it was true. So it was for that music video called Gosh for Jamie XX, and so we shot in China where they recreated a fake Eiffel Tower and a Parisian street. Because it was like supposed to be heaven for the middle class, but it never really took on. So everything is a bit weird. Like people live in there, but like the Eiffel Tower is like, you know, falling apart and everything.
Yeah, it feels quite bleak.
And so we had like I think it was like 400 like Shaolin students, so they could work in patterns and there was something missing in the video. And 2 days before, while we were rehearsing, 2 days before the shoot, like I had a dream that I was in Shanghai and everyone was blonde. And I go see my line producer. So the line producer is the guy that like makes stuff happen, in charge of the money, but like, you know, make stuff happen. And I go see him and I tell him like, man, I had a dream and I think I have a really good idea. Like, I think we should bleach the whole 400 kids blonde for the shoot. And he looked at me with so much pain because it's, you know, it's on his shoulder, you know, like, and he's like, with so much pain, he was like, it's a great idea, we should do it. But he knew what he meant. There's a making of to that too, where you see all the kids bleach themselves.
Really
it's amazing. Man, it's amazing. It's such a
really
visual triumph. Yeah, it's brilliant, man. If anyone's not seen it, they should see it.
But he made it like, and the Shaolin teacher were like, we'll let you do it, but you need one day after the video, you need to dye their hair black to not pervert the kids for too long. And so after the shoot we had to
Dye them black as well. Oh, right.
but
really?
there would have been another video to be made where it's like, because at night the teachers would get drunk and fall asleep, and so you had all the kids smoking cigarettes, fighting, because they're kung fu, kung fu kids.
Yeah.
So they would like
strictly disciplined, but
at night when the teachers were drunk, was like doing like high kicks, like throwing off a cigarette from the it was just like that shoot was madness. There's a making of that's worth watching.
I'll have to watch that.
The other shoot that I've spoke to you a little bit about as well was the one in Spain.
In Benidorm.
In Benidorm, like that was chaos as well, right? Like
I mean, I don't know if you've been to Benidorm, but like because of the shoot, the prep, the
world is yours.
The world is yours. We lived in Benidorm for 5 months, and I don't want that even for my worst enemy. It's madness. It's madness. I went there when I was like a teenager, because at that time, like French people would go to Benidorm, and at some point, I don't know when, but the English won basically, and that town is like
it's horrendous.
Yeah. It's
What's the French used to holiday in Benidorm?
Yeah, the French, but at some point, I don't know. You guys took it over, and
we got all the sun lounges.
Oh man, I was like, my apartment was on the seafront, so every night I would have like a cigarette and a little whiskey, like coming down from the day, and I would watch English people fight there would be fights every night.
You mentioned some violence there, and it made me obviously think about boxing. You've been training with Ryan. First off, how do you find the training? How do you find boxing? And does boxing help in any way with what you do for work?
I mean, for me, it's more like the discipline. So like, I don't know, like 2 years ago, I started, I think like during the pandemic, I'm 41. I was on the verge of becoming a fat director, not a fat director, but like when I never cared about like I was never doing like sports or anything, but like I was like, okay, I'm hitting 40. I'm gonna do this film. I'm gonna do Athena, which is like a very physical film where I need to be in good form. And so I started almost like, for vanity, I can't go to the gym because like I don't know, it's annoying. And I think the discipline of like of boxing and waking up in the morning and doing something physical, my day, like whether I'm shooting or writing, my day is way better. And also like I think like working with Ryan and having those training sessions is it just helps you. It just helps you in the head, where before I felt like, it's all in the head and the body follows. But when you hit 40, when you hit late 30s, you understand that the body, at some point it doesn't follow. So like, it is really like I think it's a perfect discipline, especially for a director, because it gives you take out a lot of aggressive energy out, and it's a lot of discipline. And it's for me it just like starts my day in the head and in my body in a good way.
Can he fight?
Roman's a good boxer, man. He can box. I'm telling you, he doesn't want to fight. Like
I'm too
old. You never do it.
A fight like I don't know. Like
we spar a bit. We do a bit of sparring, but
do a bit of sparring. But like like I'm old. Like when I say I'm old, it's like my nose is too big. Like if I get punched in the face, you hit my nose, and my nose is broken. So.
Remember, you're behind the camera. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. I know, but it's like then you go to the hospital and it's like annoying. And but I really like it. Like the thing is like when you're good at one thing you do, the one thing I know how to do is directing. To put yourself in a situation of doing something that is not your thing, but like I would be very frustrated to not, like if I was to do a fight, like I would have to win it, so I think it's a matter of like I don't know if I do it. Like the bit of sparring is good.
It's crazy though when I listen to this whole hour, whatever we've been talking for, and it all boils back down to you've been very successful in what you do, as we have as well. But it has that will to win, and that filters through other aspects into life. So you're just talking about boxing there. You'd have to win. It's not the taking part.
Yeah. There's a fire that says
there's a fire.
I
there.
have to be on top. Yeah.
Hey, I've got a question. Would you direct a boxing film?
Well, I've danced around the idea of a couple scripts that were in that world. I think because it's such a genre, you need to find an angle where it's not something you've seen already. Like boxing films that are interesting. It's like the boxing is almost like a layer of it, but it needs to be about characters. It needs to be I haven't found yet the one thing, but it's the good boxing films are amazing.
Well, yeah, they're few and far between though. There's not many,
in
my opinion.
Oh yeah. And for you guys, you see, and now I see it a little bit like how fake it looks and everything.
Yeah.
Where a film always, because you need to heighten the stakes and everything. So obviously it's gonna look different. But I did a commercial back in the days when he was young with Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
And so there was like a few boxing scene in it, and it was really fun to film.
Yeah.
Going back to
you need to be like him getting knocked out and get up back again. So it's like, you need to put the stakes way high.
I actually think when I look at Rocky, the story of Rocky, so the fight scenes couldn't be any cheesier. And they couldn't be any far from the actual truth of a fight. But the story of Rocky, this underdog, and I think everyone, I think the sport, actually, sport aside, whether it be boxing or anything, the story of the underdog.
Yeah.
And I think what they captured in that film was that, the fight scene were a bit cheesy. But if you can, I guess, with any film that you're doing, if you can hone in on the nuts and bolts of the story, that's the most important.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's what I've seen really prevalent in all of what you do. Like you're fighting for the underdog. That's how it seems to me anyway. There's always a repressed or a put down and you're being the voice for fairness.
But because I think it's what you're more engaged of someone like following an underdog, like in sports movie is like you were saying, like especially boxing, you don't want to follow the guy on top that's just gonna beat up people that are less good than him. You want the guy that's like struggling, or like in American movies there's always they made always the same film about that coach that arrives and trains that team that's not good, and then they win, and then so you kind of it makes good spectacle to see that.
Yeah, just talking about your boxing, just quickly again, like that I found something very impressive about your mindset was when I first started training you, just after lockdown, you broke your finger, and most people would have said, "Oh, I broke my finger, I can't do it anymore." But we continued exactly the same, trained just as much, and we did it one-handed. For months
made my
and
job
months.
better.
And to be honest, it taught me a lot as a coach, because we did it one-handed, and your left hook is your best punch now. So it really did make a difference, but it just shows your mindset, because.
But that helped a lot. Like you're in the thanks in Athena in my credits, just because like that.
I didn't know that, by the way.
Yeah. But that helped me a lot. Like to that whole process of like while I was writing to box, and then when I was shooting, there was a guy from the estate in the morning. He would like train me and do pads with me just to. But like we started together, like so like then it was just keep the ball rolling, and that helped me a lot of like. Especially for discipline, because when you do films like something like right now I'm writing, I could wake up at like 2 p.m. if I want. I have a daughter, so I can't. But like, but like you know what I mean, like it structures your day mentally and physically, and also to accept taking punches is something that is a good thing, I think.
But it's very important to highlight that mindset as part of why you've achieved so highly. And like for example, you'll fly to Paris or LA or wherever, and wherever you're coming back from, you'd want to train on that day when he gets back, and that just shows the mindset. Do you know what I mean? And so many times you hear it, whether it's Michael Jordan or Mike Tyson or whoever it is, their mindset and their drive and their obsessiveness over, you know, leaving no stone unturned is like, you do have that. I've seen it in this gym. Like, I'm not been on set with you, but I understand the way you function, and it's got to be a big part of why you are recognized and others aren't.
Yeah, like, obsession is definitely a big part of it. But I think in, you know, sports, people that excel in sports are obsessive type of personality, and it's the same in, I think it's the same in everything. You need to be obsessive.
We're getting closer to the end now, but there's so much more to come from you, which we'll touch on in a minute. But when you look at what you've already done, how do you reflect on that? I mean, you kind of, from what you said when you was in the festival with your daughter, you was content with what you'd made. Is there an element of contentment, or are you still as driven as you was?
The thing is that the contentment, and I don't know if it's the same in sports or in boxing in particular, but like the contentment lasts a little bit. Like then you need
drive and fire comes.
Yeah. You need because at some point you're content, but like content is, you know, you now I feel like, okay, now from what I've achieved, I can get more, you know, bigger budgets. Like I can go different places, push the boundaries further with my craft. So the content lasts a few weeks, and then you want to get back on that train and writing, and because those things take time as well. You know?
It's funny because that's a trait that I've noticed throughout high achievers that I've spoken to. The win doesn't last very long.
No,
it's like immediately. Like some people, even less than 2 weeks. It seems like long, but it's probably less than that.
And it's a good the good thing with directing is you because I have a lot of musician friends and with music or sport, it's a young man's game, you know. Like with directing, the thing is like, you know, my dad's 90, he still does it.
Yeah,
you know,
wow.
it's hard,
That's
but
amazing.
like it's something where and I've always I imagine it's hard when you guys like suddenly, you know, like the you know, you're at the end of like so there's a new life coming, you know, like and that, like, I see it with like my friends that are in sport, my friends I was mentioning that was a tight fighter, like or the friends in music, where at some point you know that you need to go to something else.
It's over.
And with directing it's different because you just try to. I mean, at some point, some people should have retired in directing, you know, like, but there is something where if you play your cards right, you can do it till you die, you know.
You can adapt and make it less physical, I suppose, and because it's your mind that's creating.
Before you retire, and it comes one day for all of us, how would you like to be remembered? What is the legacy that you'd like to leave?
It's weird, but I never think necessarily about that, you know. Like I think, I don't think about that. But like maybe for me, I would like to just be proud of all the things I've done. You know, like the films.
That doesn't come through awards.
No, I don't think it. It's, to be honest, it's always good when you get an award. You know, it always makes you happy. But I think it's just like looking back on what you've done and be like, okay, I did it for the right reasons. Like it's the best it could have been on all the different projects, you know, because like all the films or all the music videos are very different, you know, like they're little objects in themselves. And as long as you feel like I've done the best I could have done, you know. I always am really happy when, you know, I see a young new director that, you know, where I see some of my stuff in it, you know, because then it's like, okay, you inspired people and everything. So that's always pleasant. But but I guess my point is like I'm still at an age where I don't auto-reflect too much on what is going to be left behind, you know, after that. The good thing is like it's the film stays, you know, like even when you know, like when even when you die, the film stays.
Yeah, it lives on. Yeah.
It does.
I suppose boiling it down to the whole point of us being here, the podcast is called Why Fight, and just to sort of encapsulate it all. Why bother? Why fight in the first place? Why obsess? Why do this thing? Why struggle over perfection? Why push yourself so hard? Why fight?
Why fight? Because why not? You know, like no, but like I wouldn't know what else to do. To be honest, like you know, like I would literally not know what else to do.
This is a real passion.
Yeah. I think
it's not just a job. This is life.
Yeah, it's life. It's like I was saying, Ryan. Like last night, I struggled to sleep just because I was thinking of a scene for my next film, and like it was in a loop, you know. Like, and I'm sure you guys have the same thing of like replaying a fight that you had, or like when you prep for a fight.
Mate, of course.
What if I did this?
I thought you didn't sleep because we were putting cameras on you today.
Yeah.
Well, your reason why fight, because I don't know what else to do. It reminds me a lot of the film Everest, but I've heard it said before. It's a famous quote. They say like, "Why would you bother climbing Everest?" And they say, "Why not?"
Yeah.
Because it's there. That's the word.
Yeah.
Because it's there.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of human instinct, nature to push for your potential.
And to be honest, with films and videos and stuff like that, like it's I want to make stuff that I want to see, you know, like that I wish I could, you know. So at the end of the day, it comes to that, and because it's fun to make. I don't know if you guys had fun when you were fighting, but have
when we won.
Fun.
When you're winning.
Sparring, I love sparring. I love the trying to outthink somebody. You know, even if I spar with you, you know, just to try.
You had think me fast. Yeah.
No, just to try to not get hit once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a game, really.
Yeah. It must be great as well to know that, like you said it there, something gets left behind. You know, a work of art gets left behind for generations and generations to come. That must be fulfilling as well.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, like.
Well, I mean, I've seen one with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Athena, you have to watch it. It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, that right there is, for me, like I say, I don't usually concentrate on those kind of things, the way it's made, but I was blown away. Absolutely blown away.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute honour, mate. I really
Thank
appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Roman, you're a legend. Thank you,
very much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.